This is Unit 2 review. This is going to be numbers 4, 5, and 6. So for these were set from section 2.2. These are x3s, 4s, and 5s that do factor. So remember, the goal here is to graph. So to do that, I need to find my x and my y intercepts. So for number 4, when I do this, I'm going to group these. So this is going to be x to the third plus 2x squared, and then plus a negative 25x minus. Remember, you want to tuck the negative here on the inside. Pull out a greatest common factor, x squared, you're left with x plus 2. Take out 25, or negative 25, you're left with x plus 2. So now we're going to set these equal to 0. After we pull out that x plus 2, and we're left with the x squared minus 25. All right, you can either factor this to be x minus 5, x plus 5, or just set it equal to 0 as it is. You get negative 2 and a plus or minus 5. So those are my zeros. They are my roots. They will also become my x-intercept because none of them have an imaginary piece to it. The y-intercept here is going to be 0, negative 50. The negative 50 comes from, again, the end there. So when I graph this, I'm going to have to go all the way down to negative 50. So I'm going to count by tens here. So negative 10 is my first one. At 20, 30, 40, 50. Again, I want you to show that on the actual graph. Okay, now I'm going to go by ones here because I need to plot my x-intercepts. My x-intercepts here are the negative 5, negative 2, and positive 5. This was a positive x to the third graph. It's going to be coming up, coming down. It's going to come down through this negative 50, and it's going to pass up through here. This is not going to be a bottom. So again, it comes up, comes down. That's not a bottom. It's going to bottom out somewhere down over here, and then it's going to come back up and pass through and finish out. Make sure you have it as a smooth curve. Make sure it is continuous. Make sure you have your arrows at the end. All right, so number 5. We have negative x to the fifth minus 7x to the third minus 10x. We're again going to take this, set this equal to 0. Again, this will factor. I should know that since the degree there is 5, I'm going to have 5 different answers here when I go through and solve for it. So 5 roots. First thing I'm going to do is pull out a negative x, so it's GCF. That leaves me with x to the fourth plus 7x squared, and then a plus 10 equals 0. And then from there, I'm going to factor the inside this x to the fourth even further. This is going to become x squared plus 5 and x squared plus 2 equals 0. And then when I finish this, I'm going to set each of those equal to 0. So I get negative x equals 0. I have x squared plus 5 equals 0. And I have x squared plus 2 equals 0. First one, you get x is equal to 0. That's my first one. This, you're going to subtract your 5, and you get x is equal to plus or minus I root 5. And subtract your 5, get a negative 5. Square roots plus or minus, the negative comes out as an I. Second one is going to be very, very similar. This is going to be x equals plus or minus I root 2. Again, subtract your 2 to take the square root of both sides there. So if you notice, there were 5 answers, but only one of them is real. The other 4 are imaginary. So when I graph this, I'm really only going to have one x-intercept, and that also means I'm only going to have one y-intercept. The y-intercept here is just 0, 0. So this is going to be coming through at 0, 0. When I graph this, it's an upside down x to the fifth graph, so in general it's going to just come down and follow that pattern. All right, so number 6, x to the fourth plus 3x squared plus 2. Again, I'm going to take this and I'm going to set that equal to 0. I'm looking for my x-intercepts first, which come from the zeros. All right, I have to look first to see, excuse me, if this can factor. This factors to x squared plus 2 and x squared plus 1, set those both equal to 0. When I do so, this is very similar to number 5. You get x is equal to plus or minus I root 2 and plus or minus I root 1, which is really just I. Remember, square root of 1 is just 1, so that just goes away. Y-intercept of this one is going to be 0, 2. Now when I graph, what I'm really plotting is my y-intercept of 0, 2. I notice there are 4 roots, the degree is 4, I got 4 answers, but none of them are real, they're all imaginary. So none of them are going to be part of my graph. This is a positive x to the 4th, so it's going to come down and go back up. Again, I recommend you graph it on the graphing calculator so you can see the exact values of what the graph should be.